Greetings, petrolheads, and welcome to Rom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to the race of the ASRC at Milwaukee Mile. I'm not alone, as often. I am, of course, with the man with the voice of 1,000 angels. Cody, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing great. I'm really excited. It's going to be some IndyCar oval racing action today. Unfortunately, we were not able to bring you the Indy 500 last week, but this race is sure to be a blast all the same.
And how do you pronounce what is it, Milwaukee?
Yeah, Milwaukee.
But you do pronounce the L.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, and I just saw that I still have the wrong name for the race. Give me a sec, peeps. I'm gonna change it.
All good. So the Milwaukee Mile, it is called the Milwaukee Mile because it is a 1 mile track. It's actually 1.015 miles. But that all turns out to about, I think it's 1.6 kilometers thereabouts. And it is, of course, in Milwaukee. Well, it's not really in Milwaukee. It's west of Milwaukee in Wisconsin. So a lot of drinking going on around the fairgrounds today as we get ready for the race.
Qualifying just finished, and now we're, I suppose, waiting for...
Looks like we have about 3 minutes left of quali per my standings.
Okay.
But I don't see too many people out on track. I know there's some people out on track.
Talking about standings, I can show the standings, the pilot standings, as they are at the moment. After Indianapolis 500, we have Vladislav Zenkov as number 1, Henk-Jan Stenneker, a name that you may recognize from Global Enduro, at number 2, Lee Russell at number 3, Jakub Kowalski at number 4, and Ricardo Almeida at number 5. We have also the teams. We have Kowalski Motorsports, where surprisingly Jakub Kowalski races. Haha. We have Kowalski Motorsports at first, KMO Racing at second, and Zenkov Racing at third, but these can change very strongly.
Absolutely. It's always very fun to watch. So this is sort of the line between a short track and an intermediate oval. To get into the terminology, usually a short track is a track that is less than 1 mile, and an intermediate oval is 1 mile to 2 miles, and then once you get, I think, above 2 miles, that's when you get into your super speedways, your Talladegas, your Indies, that sort of thing. If I remember correctly. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. That's just off the top of my head. I know you will. And so I think that Milwaukee is about as short as you can get before you get into short tracks.
Oh, so it's not a short oval? Because I've always been calling it a short oval.
So that's the thing. The terminology is somewhat flexible, I think. It's like, right at about 1 mile, which is the cutoff point. So it is a short track. It is an intermediate oval. It all just depends on how you want to measure it. I feel like if you measured the inside of the track, it would be a short oval. If you measured the outside of the track, it would be an intermediate oval. It's that close.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like the top of qualifying, we've got Miguel Ramos with Race for Cat Motorsport, Jose Jimenez in second, and Ricardo Almeida in third. We've got the Latin powerhouses taking out the top 3 spots in qualifying. And then we've got Vladislav Zenkov in 4th, Pablo Lopez Garcia in 5th.
Interesting, because speaking of Latin powerhouses, at IndyCar, it's mostly Brazilians, like Helio Castroneves or Tony Kanaan, who just announced that he's not going to race anymore at IndyCar, but more power to him. He's been a big name in IndyCar. So here is more the Spanish-speaking and less the Portuguese-Brazilian-speaking part.
Indeed. So Emerson Fittipaldi is a Brazilian driver who has competed at this track. So maybe there's some channeling of a little bit of that legendary Brazilian speed at the Milwaukee Mile today. We'll see.
So at the moment we're waiting for the start of the race. We have warm-up, but 10 minutes? They don't do 10 minutes. Anyway.
Well, so that gives us a little bit more time to chat.
A question to the give me a sec. A question to the chat. How is the sound? Is the sound okay, mates?
We'll give him a minute on that. So I want to get back to you. So the NASCAR timing records the length at exactly 1 mile, so 1.61 kilometers. IndyCar actually disagrees. They call it the 1.015 miles. So there's 0.015 miles of difference in between how it's measured between series. And kart even, so a little bit older before kart and IRL IndyCar merged. They used 1.032 miles. So exactly how big a mile is, they all disagree. But one thing is for sure: however long the track is, we're sure to have some really, really good close wheel-to-wheel racing action for you today. You can see these cars going out, warming up. These cars on this track, very interesting, because this is a very old track. It's one that didn't get raced for a long time. I can't remember if they're running it now or not. But for a long time, it just sat. Now I believe, if this is the track I'm referring to or I'm thinking about, it didn't get a lot of love for a long time. Now it's back. It's getting some love, and so we're running very, very modern cars on the Milwaukee Mile. Love to see it.
Oh, let me check the actual IndyCar calendar.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Wikipedia major events, and yeah, it looks like 2015 everybody left the track. They didn't have anything from 2015 onward, but then in 2021 racing started up again. So it wasn't as big of a hiatus as I thought, but yes, there was a hiatus, but now we're back with the modern cars.
Yeah, but it's not part of 2023, if I see it correctly. So
not for IndyCar, but for the NASCAR Truck Series and for ARCA. So some other oval racing series closed wheel cars.
We have Texas, Indianapolis, and Iowa this year that are ovals.
Yeah. Take a wild guess on how old this circuit is, Serta. Because of course, you hail from Europe, where they've got all the wonderful, beautiful historic
problem is
circuits.
in preparation for this race. I went to the Wikipedia page, and I know that it started sometime 1904, 1903, 1902, so beginning of last century.
Yeah, so they broke ground in 1899. on this circuit. So this is one of the oldest tracks in North America.
But it was dirt for a long while, right?
Indeed, yes. It held the first auto race on this track in 1903.
Yeah, so that's something that would be interesting. Maybe Automobilista 2 is going to bring it in the so-called adrenaline pack, which is what some of us are thinking, that they're going to bring dirt racing into it, rallycross and maybe dirt ovals, but nobody knows for sure. But dirt racing is a complete different beast, because the track, if you think a normal tarmac track changes during the race weekend, imagine how a dirt oval changes during a weekend.
Oh, it changes lap by lap, corner by corner, as everything gets tossed up and to the side. And then if it gets a little bit wet, it becomes mud. And you've got to contend with that.
That was very interesting. In the last iRacing update that they did, the Q1 update, they did 2 weeks ago or something like that. They published it. They seem to have worked a lot on dirt physics. Because they've done non-tarmac physics for a while now, trying to make them better. And one thing that they did was really, or at least that's what they say, analyze how a dirt track changes during the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm being told you're too loud. I suppose that's what your mother always tells you to. So I'm putting it...
More like my choir teacher. It's jinxed. Every time that I choose a car that's on trackside, it goes to pits, because why not? Anyway. While I'm checking here that the sound is okay and all that. Anyway. So, the fastest real-life time that has been set in an Indycar was in 2015 at the last Indycar race held here. And that was actually Brazilian Helio Castroneves in the Dallara DW12, a few generations older than the IR18 we're driving here. And that was a 22-second .1221. So here in the warm-up, Ramos has driven a 22.498, which is a few tenths off. I have to wonder if we're going to see that in the race, that we hit that 22.1221. We'll have a lot more close racing action, a lot more drafting, and of course, much more aggressive driving, since it won't just be a warm-up. But it'll be interesting to see if we get near that. Of course, the differences between sim racing and real-life racing can be worth a few tenths. Track design, car design, etc. And then also these cars are a bit newer, so they'll have slightly different characteristics. But it'll be interesting to see. Keep that 22.1211 in mind.
So, watching them on track. I like these IR18s.
Well, they're
Nice,
incredibly
nice cars.
fun to drive, but they're also very pretty. I think that the windscreen is a more elegant solution than the halo in
somehow,
Formula
yeah.
One.
and it doesn't disturb me as much as when I'm racing Formula One. Like when I'm racing IndyCar, it's as if it's not there. And on Formula One, I need some time to forget it's there in the middle of my view.
Well, you still have that post in the middle of your vision on both cars, but because of the windscreen, the post on the IndyCars is thinner. It's more narrow, so it blocks less of your view. And then also, I think that the windscreen is the safer option. If you're trying to cover the driver and protect them, there's smaller things that could hit the driver than would be protected by just the posts and the halo.
Do that.
It's the difference of a closed-toed shoe and a flip-flop. Oh, it looks like Nick Stepaneko has spun on the backstretch. Warm up coming to an end shortly, and then we will go racing.
And let's see how it goes. I watched their test yesterday. They did a test race because in the Indy 500, which unluckily we could not show because our Factor 2 was not cooperating. In the Indy 500, it seems there were a lot of issues because these drivers are not accustomed to drive oval. And yesterday they had a test drive where they had one or two issues and therefore full course yellow, but the rest of the almost 100 rounds they did on it was not only issue free but very interesting, very near racing. It seems that the drivers have been learning how to do oval, although of course this short oval is a different beast. That's something like Indianapolis.
Indeed, yeah. Indianapolis being a super speedway, you almost do not have to let off the gas at all, and you certainly don't have to use the brakes. At Indy, depending on your aero setup, you don't have to lift off the gas. That's one of the major things that makes a speedway a speedway. I'm sorry, a super speedway as opposed to just a speedway. At Daytona, at Talladega, Texas World Speedway, if you want to go back that far, Michigan as well for a modern example of the exact same track. Those are all super speedways where pretty much you just put your foot to the floor and all of the time that you gain is where you place the car and who you draft behind, which can be very interesting and exciting. This is not that track. This is a much shorter circuit than Indianapolis. Indianapolis is 2.5 miles. I don't know what that is in kilometers, but Milwaukee Mile is, of course, 1 mile, thereabouts. 1.6 kilometers. And so it's less than half that. And the turning radius is much tighter as well. You can see the cars all on the grid now. Just about all on the grid, maybe. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to get rolling. We're not going yet. This will be a rolling start.
And so what I don't remember now is if they do one or two. I think they do two laps behind the pace car, but we'll know soon enough. Oh, yeah, they were almost faster than the pace car.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the thing. It can depend. Our Factor 2's pace car design setup, AI programming is very old. And you have to sort of treat it like an 80-year-old man who doesn't exactly know what he's doing as your pace car in front. And I don't know if you've ever hit the pace car in R Factor 2, but
nope.
It carries a very, very high amount of damage, and so you will just tap it and it will like destroy your car, which is kind of funny to watch, but you don't want to do that in a competitive environment such as this one. So here we are. We've come around one lap under the pace car. Pace car lights are out. That is how you know
exactly.
that you will be turning into the pits on this lap, and we will go racing.
They do 2 laps behind them.
Indeed. 250 laps. That's 250 miles around Milwaukee.
Which is half of the number that they do of miles that they do in Indianapolis, and therefore I think they do something like but they do something like half a minute per lap here.
Yeah, it's about 22, 23 seconds.
Oh, in 1 hour we're gonna be here. Pace car preparing to go into pits quite soon.
Indeed. You say 1 hour, but I suspect we will be seeing that pace car again.
True that. Yes, yes, absolutely. And the system is set up so that they have 6 rounds of pace car.
Yeah. All right, pace car is in, and here we go.
Racing.
Green, green, green. Mikel Ramos, he is out in front.
Keeps
Race
in
for
front.
Cat Motorsports.
Carlos Almeida also. Everyone trying to find a good position to get behind the right person and not lose too much time. I've already completed 1 round. This is very fast-paced.
Every 22 seconds, you'll have a lap.
Oh, already some of the drivers fanning out, trying to find the best way.
There's grass on the inside of some of these corners, and there's a curb on the inside of one of them. So you see these drivers that can't get too close to that, but some of them are, as they fight in the shuffle and try to get everything worked out in these opening laps. We'll see them spread out pretty soon. Because of how short this lap is, we'll see lapped cars very shortly, I would suspect. But wow, Mikel Ramos way out in front from Almeida. He just put in a new best lap. You'll see a lot of those coming in here in the early race.
Behind him, a lot of battles.
Absolutely. Ricardo Almeida in second. But wow, that lead those two have. Behind them, Jose Jimenez, Vladislav Zinkov, Pavel Ivashkin, Pablo Lopez Garcia, Ricky Jimenez, Juanma Fuentes. Oh, it looks like a pass there. Oh, yellow.
Yellow. You were right. We're gonna be seeing the pace car once again.
I'm trying to find the source of that yellow flag. I'm not seeing. Oh, looks like Stan Sokol and Lee Russell needing to go into the pits. They were at the pit entrance. Had some sort of an issue. It looks like Stan Sokol's going around. Lee Russell made it into the pit box with no front wing. So I'm going to guess that Stan Sokol and Lee Russell got into it. They were kind of towards the back of the field, just had a little bit of a touch. But yep, that pace car is out. It's saying yellow in Sector 1, but that is a full course yellow because what sector? It's all one sector.
And as I said, normally they do something like 5-6 laps behind the pace car, and as they have reduced speed, they're not going to be doing 22 seconds per lap. It's all in all going to be a little bit longer.
Absolutely, but how many laps did we make it? That was six laps.
Not even, right?
Yeah,
it's very fast.
Absolutely. But you know, that's part of the racing experience that that you have around a short track with some very, very fragile cars. You know, you get ARCA out here, you get Truck Series out here. They can bump and bounce off of each other. It's a bit like touring cars in that way. But around here in these, you know, high performance, super fragile machines, you know, closest open wheel racing in America to you know, Formula One, and you know, they can't exactly take too much bumping and grinding like a lot of the closed tin top series can.
And they cannot wall ride.
No, certainly not. Yeah, you could not do a Ross Chastain move around any circuit in an IndyCar. No.
Which unluckily just got forbidden by NASCAR.
Yeah. I saw somebody call it, I think the watermelon slide or something like that, because Chastain hails from a watermelon farm.
But it was great, and it did what he needed to do, and it was getting him into the right place. So hey, yeah, I mean that one's gonna be in the history books of NASCAR forever.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is what Ramos is seeing, bored out of his mind, I suppose.
Yeah, you know, as a driver, I didn't do any this past year, but I have done some in years before. Oh, Meshkov got a penalty for something. Let's see. But as a that was on pit entrance. I will bet you that was speeding in the pit lane.
Wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I have driven Indy 500s with, I can't remember, it might have been Global Enduro, or it was some organization. I can't exactly remember. I'm so sorry. But whenever you're under full course yellow, you can pretty much just, you know, hold on to your steering wheel with one hand, get a sip of water, have a drink, move over to another tab, check Facebook, whatever, you know. see what new mods have been posted on you know, Race Department or GT Planet or your mod repository of choice. Hey, romrom.net. And you know, it's, yeah, thankfully for these drivers around here, it's a much shorter lap, so whenever it is time to go green, the cars won't have to go, you know, a whole 2.5 miles at, like, you know, 100 kilometers an hour.
One thing that they should be doing, I mean, of course not yet, lights out in the pace car. One thing they should be doing is warming up the tires, because that's one of the biggest issues when starting the race again. And that's why often after a yellow you get another yellow, because everyone wants to seize the opportunity, but the brakes are cold, the tires are cold, and somehow they don't get that tires on an oval get as cold as tires on a road track. So hey.
Yeah, it's another thing to note, though, that at this speed where these cars are going as slow as they are. You move it back and forth, you wiggle back and forth very frantically, and it won't heat the tires up all that much. But it can wear other parts and things out. So it's a trade-off for sure. And it looks like pretty much all of these drivers are just choosing to sit tight. They don't know exactly when they'll be going. Looks like the lights have not
Quite
gone
soon,
out
yes.
of the pace car.
Yes.
Oh, those lights have gone out of the pace car now.
Totally.
Yes, okay.
Oops, somebody on the curb there.
Oops.
Yeah, there was a little bit of an issue there, but I think they solved it.
Meshkov was able to take his penalty under yellow still, so he gets back out. He is, I don't know exactly what happened to Lee Russell, but he ended up further down. He's down a full lap from the field, but Meshkov was able to serve his penalty and get back out on the lead lap. But we have now run.
Soon.
Yes, indeed. We've now run almost half this race so far under caution. So, yes, we'll be going green right now. Here we go.
Ooh, that was Almeida and Jimenez were very near to each other, but
that's the Milwaukee Mile, baby. Ooh, slight touch on the wall from one of the mid-pack cars. They seem to come away with it all right, but might have picked up some damage there.
hey, everything going well?
Back out in front. Oh, it looks like Meshkov is back in the pits.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Lee Russell still one lap down. He'll probably go up ahead of Meshkov as Meshkov now goes one lap down.
Ron Ramos, Almeida, Jimenez. Off. Different planet.
Indeed, yeah, they're way out ahead of the other drivers. You can really see Jose Jimenez's line is a bit different on corner exit. He really has been going out to the outside on turn 4. Not every lap, but a lot of laps. And like slingshotting down the banking. There's not much banking on this track, but he's running very, very near to the edge and seeming to gain about 100th or even a 10th every few laps as he works to catch up to Ricardo Almeida there in second.
Oh, and there's no. I thought there was some overtaking there, but no, it didn't.
So the overtaking that you are seeing, Meshkov is down one lap. He's in 24th.
Ah, okay, so he's going out of the way for the others, right?
Yes. But of course, Meshkov, even though he's under a blue flag, as long as he has the pace, he can work to get his lap back. That is still a thing that he can do, and he seems to be running with them. Remember, he went into the pits on a penalty, I believe it was. And so, he could still have pace. I'm not so sure he'll have the pace of these top drivers, 1, 2, and 3, but, he's well within his rights if he can maintain the pace to just run there with them, as with any other driver who is down a lap. Miguel Ramos getting a very big lead on the rest of the field. We've only been green for a few laps, and he is already approaching 2 seconds in front of Almeida. Almeida, though, held up by Meshkov. He gets around him there.
I think there was a little touch between Almeida and Jimenez.
Possibly.
Denkov trying to get inside.
Yep, going for a pass on the inside. Meshkov lets him by.
I mean, there's still a couple of rounds to go, so...
Oh, absolutely.
And the strategy in an oval is different than the strategy on road racing. You're gonna have enough opportunities to overtake. There's gonna be yellows. There's gonna be cars in the pits. You have different tires, different fuel levels. So you don't fight as strongly at the beginning as, for example, Formula One does on road.
Yeah, you can see a lot of these drivers are, just following behind everyone else. There's a lot of strategy involved in oval racing. And so it can be the case that, you're just hanging behind somebody, staying in their draft, save some fuel. Oh, Eugene Zagladko. Let's switch to him. He's currently in 22nd. He's in the 88 car. It looks like he's had an engine failure. Yeah, that looks to be a pretty severe engine failure. And he is out of the race. Yep, teleported back to the pits. That's going to be a DNF for Eugene Zadladko. Engine failure in that Aero number 88 car. That's unfortunate. Dmitry Balakar. Yeah, Dmitry Malakar, similar fate. I did not see what happened to him. Didn't see his engine blow or anything like that. He may have had just some other issue, but he's out of the race too. So our first two DNFs. 24 cars have started, 22 cars are left. Oh, and yellow is out. Yellow flag is out. Looks like it's gone away again. Oh, no, yellow flag is still out. I'm not quite sure why. Hunting for a reason, not seeing it.
Not saying anything either.
And it might have just been that the car stopped, Zadladko's car triggered a caution. That is most likely the case.
But that was a while ago already, so...
R-Factor 2's caution system is good, but it can sometimes be delayed. Not seeing any other reason that could be a caution, I'm going to posit that it is most likely that.
And somebody relapping is absolutely allowed.
Yes, if you beat the pace car out, you get your lap back.
Well, he just went at the side of the pace car and continued.
Oh yeah. Well, that can depend on the series. I suppose in this series it's alright then. It's just been posted in the chat, so I will plug it. Join our Discord. The RomRom community on Discord is a very fun one, vibrant one. We've got some very fun conversations there. The sim racing news gets organized there. So if you want to read your news from various sources, a lot of it is collected in there. And then, of course, we have a wonderful chat with a lot of great discussion around sim racing and modding and hardware and sim racing media, and of course upcoming events such as this one. So hop in the Discord, have a good time, and we'll see you there.
And don't forget, we also post when sim or hardware are for some reason lowered in price or whatever. The first ones go into pits now, are using the yellow phase to, I suppose, just top fuel. I wouldn't change tires, but... So we're seeing Pod getting into the pit.
Yeah, these cars, even though they may be, going around a lot of these laps at very slow speeds. Whoa! Battle out of the pit lane, maybe? Mikel Ramos and Almeida coming out at exactly the same time. Ramos is claiming his spot in front. I guess he might have beaten Almeida, but we'll have to see what the system tells them.
And just a reminder that, of course, when you come out of pits in a full course yellow, you get the position that you get, which normally is the last one. But of course, you have saved time compared to doing it while the race is going on. So this is like, for those who know Formula 1 better, this is similar to a safety car phase on Formula 1. You save time even if you lose positions, but you don't lose as many positions as you would if you would go into pits during the normal race.
Yeah, it looks like the leaders lost about 10 positions there. Mikel Ramos down in 10th. Everyone who followed him coming shortly behind that.
Zenkov going into pit now.
Yeah, he saw the leaders do it and said, hey, that's a good idea.
And he's got six laps to do it. Hold on.
Well, that makes a new leader for the restart. Ricky Jimenez. You have Meshkov's car. I think that's Meshkov. Yes, you have Alexander Meshkov's car lap down in front of Jimenez. Or I guess, yeah, a lap down. Certainly will be after the restart. But Ricky Jimenez, your new leader. Stepanenko for advanced competition is close behind in second. And then, of course, Hank-Jan Steneker in third. Familiar driver, he's racing for Promix Frost Racing right now.
What surprises me a little bit, I was expecting to see him further at the front on qualifying, but what was that? Jimenez?
No, it was not Jimenez. That was Meshkov, I suppose, getting the wave around on the last lap before. It looked to me like he clipped through the safety car.
Yeah, something you cannot do in real life.
No, certainly not. And,
yeah, you can do it once.
You can try to do it once, I suppose.
Yep. And lights are out.
Indeed, coming around to turn 3 here.
Are going out. And at lap 31 of 250, we'll continue racing right now.
Green, green, green. Oh, Lopez Garcia, he gets a penalty, I presume, for a false start. Sokol, Stan Sokol has now DNF'd. That's unfortunate. I'm not quite sure why. But we are back into the race. Ricky Jimenez and Nick Stepanenko close behind is Hank-Jan Steneker. Jacob Kowalski in 4th, Adam Donovan in 5th. Lopez Garcia into the pits now. Pablo Lopez Garcia. Vladislav Zinkov in the pits. Marco Zarak in the pits. I'm not quite sure why they did not pit before the green, but they're in the pits now. It's an interesting strategic choice.
Stepanenko going on the inside and trying to get the advantage over Jimenez, but didn't work out.
Not quite yet, but he looks to the inside yet again. Forces Jimenez to the outside. They're alongside each other. Nick Stepanenko is going to try to late break into this corner to get around Jimenez. He does it, but did he carry too much speed on corner entry? Ricky Jimenez is able to carry all that speed around the outside. They remain alongside each other. Looks like a close battle here for the lead.
Gonna be a tough decision to make, so they're still going side by side in terms of oval.
Indeed. Yeah, Stepanenko, he's trying to find that overspeed to get past Ricky Jimenez. He has the inside line, but because of a track like this, carrying as much speed around the outside can also work well too. And so he's just kind of stuck halfway alongside Ricky Jimenez. What he needs to do, there you go, he tucks in right now, is draft behind, get a little bit of that draft, and then pop out where he can get ahead. Looks like he does it there. Can he make it stick? They're still right alongside each other. Oh, he's got the nose out in front. Ricky Jimenez runs the outside. Yes, Stepanenko, your new leader.
I mean, let's see how long it takes, because of course now Jimenez can get on the draft and try to get near enough, but it seems that Jimenez is not able to. There's still stuff going on. Stenica, Kowalski.
Adam Donovan put in what looks like his personal best lap. The lap before last, I think. Lee Russell set a best lap time as well. He's running in 14th.
As always in IndyCar racing, a lot going on different parts of the track.
On a 1 mile oval, these cars are topping out at nearly 180 miles an hour. That's about 290 kilometers an hour around a 1 mile oval.
So that's a good speed. In real life, that would be some pretty enormous G's at every corner.
Absolutely, they are, really, really holding on. That's one of the benefits of sim racing, or at least one of the things that sim racing does not do compared to real life is throw you several G's to the wall every single lap. So these drivers get to do that just feeling that in their hands and not in their full bodies. But can you imagine cornering a radius as tight as this at such an incredible speed? I think that's 200 kilometers an hour, 150 miles an hour, thereabouts.
Jimenez again getting near to Stepanenko.
Yes, and Almeida as well. Ricardo Almeida has passed Honkan Steneker. Somewhere we missed that. But he is just absolutely broken out. Remember, he was in I believe, second place before the first round of pit stops from the then leaders.
Ooh, and he's even trying to contend for the second.
Yeah, he's going to push Ricky Jimenez out if he can. Advanced competition is in first place, and third place, Nick Stepanenko's teammate, is Ricardo Almeida. They're both in those, I believe, black and yellow cars, or gray and yellow.
And it seems as
they
if
are
he's
now
doing it.
Yeah, they're now almost 1-2. Almeida needs to get past Ricky Jimenez, but he looked towards the inside. He almost had him. Now Ricky Jimenez has an overspeed, and he's approaching Stepanenko and going for a pass. My goodness. Ricky Jimenez says, "No, thank you. I don't like third. I'm going to take the lead instead." And he does it. He does it.
Classic oval IndyCar driving. This is so typical. Because these cars, the way these cars are made, you can profit a lot from the draft.
Absolutely, but it looks like
Stepanenko and Seneca had a moment there, but
yeah,
Seneca has overtaken Enko.
Yeah, Stepanenko. We had advanced competition cars, two of them on the podium for just a brief second, but now Stepanenko's falling down the order, and it looks like Juanma Fuentes is even looking to pass Stepanenko. What was the reason for the big loss in pace from Nick Stepanenko?
Maybe he hit the wall and we didn't see it, and his car is now a little bit wonky. Because he's losing time a lot. I mean, somebody going into pits and braking very hard going into pits.
That's Jacob Kowalski for Kowalski Motorsports.
He left a nice 11.
Indeed. Yeah, you better be changing tires after that one.
So, what looked like 1-2 is now only on place 2. We see Almeida and then Steneker. So Jimenez, Almeida, Steneker first.
One of the interesting drivers, Miguel Ramos, very promising at the start. He just passed Jose Jimenez for 6th after dropping down into 10th place during the first round of pit stops.
Kowalski into pits.
Stepanenko into pits as well. I guess he took the opportunity to repair whatever damage or issue was causing him to lose time. Hector Comarut for Spanish Racing in that white, yellow, red, and black car, also coming out of the pits now. The yellow and red really does make me think Spain.
Yellow and red? Why?
The flag, right?
The Spanish flag is red and yellow and red. Somehow my brain was hearing red and was making green out of it, and I'm not colorblind, so I don't know why my brain went there.
Donovan in the pits, coming out now. KMO racing car, all white. Ricky Jimenez has gotten out in front and stayed out front. He's not out in front by a whole lot. Ricardo Almeida is keeping him honest, but he has been able to hold on to that lead pretty decisively.
for now. Let's see. I mean, I don't know how they are on fuel and on tires. So. Okay, Jimenez hasn't gone even once into pit for now. But again, as you were saying, oval racing is a lot of strategy, and pit strategy plays a big role. Like thinking, okay, when will the first or second pace car be? When? How do we put the fuel and so on? And of course, U.S. Americans are sticklers for statistics, so they go through all the statistics. How often does the yellow appear? When does the full course yellow normally appear? And that's what you do all the analysis before the race. I don't think that these guys have done that, but in IndyCar and NASCAR and so on ovals, it's something that you do a lot.
I'm going to take a wild guess that the drivers who were leading the race at the start and then all pitted in at one big group very early on, I'm going to guess that they probably did that and figured that their fuel, if they just went stint by stint by stint, with the pit stops that would be needed, that there was probably a little bit extra there at the end that they decided to take at the beginning. That would be my guess. It looks like we have another DNF. Robert Riss has DNF'd. IRG team, almost all of their drivers have left the race. Andrzej Kononowicz, Polish. It's been 17th place for him, but he's 2 laps down from the leader, so they're not having a good Milwaukee Mile.
One thing that you do not see in the images of the broadcast, but what we have here, I have a control board that it tells me when cars are quite near to each other and very near to each other by blinking white or red, and these colors are changing all the time because the cars are, like it's typical in oval racing, always near, then a little bit further, then nearer, then further, and so on.
I'll tell you what though, one big gap that has arisen, the top 3 versus everybody else. So Ricky Jimenez, Almeida, and Staniker, they are all very, very close together. But then there's a 4-second gap, a 3.5-second gap between 3rd and 4th. Juanma Fuentes. Oh, Jacob Kowalski spins.
Ah, no.
And brings out the full course yellow.
Seems he had not. Doesn't seem as if his car would be.
I think that he might have just caught the inside and wheeled around. I don't think he hit anything.
Of course, that means that we're gonna see rent the pace car quite soon. Although, why would... Yeah, okay. I don't think in real life this would be a full course yellow.
Yeah, I think he was close enough to the inside. I think if he had lingered there for probably about 5 more seconds, that the full course yellow would have come out. But not this, I don't think. But that is the thing about R Factor 2, is that it does have a very old pace car system. It does work. It's just it errs on the side of more cautions rather than fewer cautions, which some people like, some people don't like.
that brings all the fields together. Those 3 seconds you were talking about have just evaporated, as was to be expected. But on the other hand, contrary to Formula One, for example, or even when these Indy cars are driving on ovals or road tracks, on ovals you don't bet on being too far away from the others, because you know the next yellow is gonna come or whatever is gonna happen, so you don't have cars being like 10-20 seconds further away from everyone else and then keeping that for the whole track. Just does not happen on IndyCar or NASCAR or whatever on ovals. Yeah, Jimenez can now analyze the, what is it, Chevy?
Say again?
The pace car, is it a Chevy or what is it?
Yeah, it's a Corvette C6. Oh, big collection of leaders going into the pits. That looks like Ricky Jimenez, Almeida, Steneker, Fuentes. Wow, lots of people coming into the pits here. Mikel Ramos is in the pits. That kind of surprises me a little bit. Stepanenko is in the pits. Pavel Ivashkin, Francie Piserko. I don't know. Pablo Lopez Garcia, Vladislav Zenkov, Alexander Meshkov, all in the pits. Lee Russell stays out. He's been a backmarker for a while, but because so many drivers have come into the pits, he's out in front. He'll start your new field. But Hankjan Steneker coming out in second, making his first pit stop of the day. Most of these drivers who came in had not done a pit stop before now.
It was about time. Now I lost count how many rounds the pace car has been out. Strange. R-Factor 2 is telling me Lee Russell is on the lead, but he isn't. There's 2 cars in front. Maybe they are backmarkers?
Well, Lee Russell stayed out, so he is first place in the race. There are cars physically on track in front of him because of where the pace car came out and split the order. But the cars in front of him are down a lap or 2. That's Jacob Kowalski directly in front of him, and in front of Kowalski is Hector Comarut. And Hector Comarut is in 16th, and Kowalski is in 19th. So Comarut is 1 lap down, Kowalski is 2 laps down. There's a few more, Kononowitz and Donovan, those are other lap down cars, but then it's Steneker, Jimenez, and Juanma Fuentes in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
But it's strange that some of these drivers just overtake the pace car, but maybe race control has told them go ahead, we'll eliminate any penalty that R-Factor 2 is trying to give you.
I think it's actually built into R Factor 2, the wave around function. So if you're a lap down car in front of the leaders, you'll get the wave around so that the leaders
Okay.
will start out. But that only applies to the cars behind the pace car, but in front of the leaders. And so now the lights are out on the safety car. Lee Russell will get started out in front of everybody else.
Indycar and Jimenez on second and third, so I don't think Russell is gonna have an easy time keeping the first place.
Oh, here we go. Oh, we're going racing again. I saw a bump. I think that was Pablo Lopez Garcia tapped the wall on the restart, getting in it with Zinkov and Kowalski.
Thanks a lot, Marty, for the $5 beer money. We won't be spending it on beer, at least Cody won't. I
won't.
I may think about it. I mean, it's gonna go into paying for one interesting piece of hardware that we just bought, a gimbal for the next recordings that we do, and it's gonna go also into paying for Ike and Cody when they come to the Sim Racing Expo. Oh, well, at least Ike. Cody is still thinking about it.
I'm planning on it. Just gotta work out finances. I won't say donate more beer money, but you know it helps.
Speaking about that, give me a second.
Yeah, and back to the race. Lee Russell, he's out in front. Kananowicz lap down car shortly behind him. Hankjan Stineker was a second and a half back. Looks like he is stuck behind Adam Donovan, trying to get around him. But he might just be using Adam Donovan as a drafting buddy. Adam Donovan's got pace, but if you look at the setup on some of these cars, you can't really see it, but one of the things you can see is as they go around the circuit, some of these cars are scraping the ground as they go by, and some of these cars are not scraping the ground. So whenever you're scraping the ground, that does create a little bit of drag. You can adjust the ride height on these cars in addition to a myriad of other settings. And so one of the things that a lot of these drivers will do is raise the ride height so that they won't drag the bodywork along the ground as the aero pushes their car down when they go around the corners. Some of these cars are scraping the ground, and you see those sparks flying nearly every lap. Hankjan Stineker's car is actually scraping the ground whenever he takes an inside line. But some of these cars never scrape the ground. Some of these cars scrape the ground every lap. And a lot of the faster cars are not scraping the ground at all, with a notable exception of Hankjan Stineker, interestingly enough.
Maybe he... Oh, yellow?
Oh, looks like it. Trying to figure out a reason why. Let's see. Marco Zarak is in 20th. He's very far from the order. Oh, I see a front bumper off of a car. I don't know which car that is. Let me look at onboards and see. Oh, that looks like Alexander Meshkov's car is missing his front bumper. So I'm going to attribute this caution to Alexander Meshkov's.
Yeah, I was going into pit.
Sitting on turn 4. The exit of turn 4. Well, that'll bring out the yellow yet again. We're 82 laps in. Can you believe it?
Yeah, you were right when you were warning me not to do too fast calculations about how soon we would be finishing this race. Yeah. Anyway, that's life. what we can tell you while we are waiting for this full course yellow to finish is that the fastest lap has been done by Juan Mafuentes, who drove 286 miles an hour. No, that's 286 kilometers an hour. It forgot that I had my system on metric. 286 miles an hour would be, yikes, an incredible speed.
Yeah, that would be very impressive for any car, much less IndyCar around a 1 mile circuit. I would love to see that. Has anybody tried that in the oh gosh, what's the car called? The fan car, the Gran Turismo fan car, the Red Bull X2010. Has anyone tried that in that? Because I know that got fairly faithfully ported over to Assetto Corsa, and the Milwaukee Mile also exists in Assetto Corsa somewhere. I wonder what the top speed you could achieve on that would be.
Not many drivers going into pits. Russell is, but most are staying out. Oh, now that I say it, now a lot of the people at the back are going.
Miguel Ramos in the pits. This will be his third try for a pit stop. Third try. His third time in the pits. Looks like Nick Stepanenko in the pits again as well. Pablo Lopez Garcia. The Zenkovs, as you mentioned. Hector Komarut. Jacob Kowalski. A lot of cars in the pits now that we saw in the pits not too long ago. Strange.
And I see that Alexander Meshkov just got a penalty for pitted on closed pit lane. Of course, that's something that you have to check, because on NASCAR and on IndyCar, the pit lane gets closed. I think it's the moment that there's an accident before the pace car comes out or something like that. I don't remember how the rules are. Also into pits.
It looks like Kowalski. Jacob Kowalski of Kowalski Motorsports.
So Seneca is now leader. As we are on the 84th lap of 250. Seneca being very camera friendly, you can see directly on the on board that it's his car because he's got his name stenciled.
Yeah, don't you love it? That's a pretty livery. I hadn't looked too much at a lot of these liveries, but that Promix Frost blue with the gradient to white at the back, wonderful. If anybody has seen my AC Friends benchmark racing liveries, you'll know that I'm a big fan of blue and white gradients, and this tickles that itch.
Oh, Marty is telling us that he's a very lucky guy because he lives an hour from Milwaukee, and more important, Road America isn't too far. That's two great places to be.
Mm-hmm. For race cars, yes.
And we're green again. Take her on first. Let's see how it goes.
Fuentes receives a penalty.
Eesh.
Oh, yellow, yellow, yellow.
Oh, that was quick.
What happened? I don't even know what to say. I don't know where the issue could have been. I see nothing.
Fuentes. No, Fuentes. It's just the penalty information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not quite sure. I don't see any damage. I don't see any car parts out on track like you would in R Factor 2. Not quite sure what happened there. Two cars might have bumped into each other and slid a little bit, but I am perplexed.
Yeah, I don't see any information either. Oh, that was a very quick green, a very fleeting passing green. No, but I was saying, I mean, if you live 1 hour away from Milwaukee and Road America, even and you have Road America even nearer, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, I would be spending a lot of weekends on track.
Oh, absolutely. I've just posted. I was talking about the blue and white livery, and so I've got a Rom benchmark racing livery there. Just wanted to share that. But it's really cool seeing a neat livery with a blue and white gradient. That's all I'm saying.
These liveries are gonna be looking better in the next season, by the way.
Oh.
Because they're gonna get the Rom logo on it.
Ah, yes.
For this season, it was too late, as the season was already going when they invited us to comment. But let's see. I mean, I've known these guys for a while, and they are a great group. So they are. By the way, they not only do IndyCar, they also have Formula One, and I think they are going to start. They haven't started yet. They are going to start a small Clio competition.
Oh, that's fun. I do love those Clio Cups.
Yeah, and it's a great car, especially for beginners, because it's small enough that you can keep it in control, and it's great fun racing, and you don't have to think about too many things like when you're driving the big GT3s and so on. So Clios are in real life as well as in sim racing great cars for beginners, for people who want to dip their toes in.
I wish we got Renaults in North America. We do not.
Yeah, I mean, So I suppose that's why iRacing has normally had the MX-5 as a beginner car, right?
That would make sense because the MX-5 is very popular here. We just call it the Miata, but yeah, absolutely.
Although they are going to have a Clio racing soon. They've been teasing it for a while on Instagram, Twitter, one of those.
On lap 90 of 250, we have run about a third of this race under caution, which checks out.
Yeah, true that.
It makes sense.
And I mean, getting a caution so soon after green, it's also something that you often get in NASCAR and Indycar and so on.
Well, this just goes back to the heritage of the Milwaukee Mile as a horse racing track, where the horses also did about 40 miles an hour. Actually, you know, I've had horses. I actually don't know the top speed of a horse. I really don't.
I think it's about 40 miles an hour. I think it's... but I think it's 80 kilometers.
Oh.
Like, I mean, really top speed, like...
Yeah, okay, here we go. Top speed of a thoroughbred horse, 44 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think I've never been on a horse at that speed because yikes.
Yeah, I think very few people have been on a horse at that speed. Guinness Book of World Records lists the top speed run by a thoroughbred at 43.97 miles an hour. I have been on some very quick, or a very quick quarter horse.
Sure.
And I've even been on a quarter horse thoroughbred mix that was even faster. I did not want to go that fast. Not on a horse.
Yeah. Also, it hurts your gluteus maximus and...
yeah, I mean, after you ride enough, it no longer does. It's like any sort of exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a time in my life where I was riding horses regularly enough that I did not get sore after riding a horse. But if I were to get on now, yeah, I'd be sore for a week. It does put your body through a lot.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're about to go racing.
Any bets on how long?
Well, we'll see. We're on lap 93 of 250. Not quite halfway. Honky on Stinaker is in the lead. Familiar feeling if you go back to the Global Enduro Indy 500. Ricardo Almeida in second. He's been the most consistent driver. Advanced competition. Ricky Jimenez for MC Motorsports in third. And then Jose Jimenez. Different team. I don't think they're brothers. They're in fourth.
Almeida is trying to find the way of going past Stinaker. He's looking at the inside, looking at the outside, and trying to see. He's just analyzing how Stinaker is doing, as you can see on the onboard.
Jeremy Challenger challenges me and says 250, lap 93 of 250 is more like a quarter of the way through. Yes, I said we're not halfway through. So you are absolutely correct.
Fuentes into pits. And it seems that Almeida either is not able to get near Steneker or is just bidding his time.
Fuentes out of the pits now for Zinkov Racing. Almeida, Ricky Jimenez, and Hankjan Steneker. They are your... I didn't do it in the right order. 2, 3, and 1. Oh, yellow is out. Yellow is out. Oh, big crash, big crash. Jacob Kowalski is involved. It looks like Adam Donovan may have been involved. Hector Comerut, Spanish Racing, he has lost his front end. There was a big crash involving all of them.
And Kowalski has problems keeping in track.
Yeah, it looks like there's another one as well. Oh goodness, who was that? Who was that? There's 2 cars lacking a front bumper at the very least. Yeah, Kowalski's having a hard time keeping that car in a straight line. He's got some suspension damage. Let's see, we will see. Oh, Pablo Lopez Garcia involved in that crash, lost his front bumper. He will need a new one. Well, that didn't last long.
And Kowalski misses the entry into pits.
Oh, he spins it. Oh man, look at that car going by. It's crab walking sideways. That he cannot keep that car going in a straight line at all. Wow.
A piece of a car on that corner. Yikes, that must have been.
Yeah, Kowalski is just absolutely struggling to maneuver that car back to the pits. You can see that front end super squirrely. That rear end is way off track. Oh man!
Trying to get out of the way of the other cars. Yes.
Look at that left rear wheel of Jacob Kowalski. It is turned about 10 degrees, cambered out. So the outside of the wheel is angled so far, so tilted that well, you can see the result very obviously. He cannot keep that car going at all. That is not a car with 4 functioning wheels.
Yeah, look at the onboard. He's just really having to struggle.
Oh, being very careful. He finally gets it back into the pits.
That's gonna be a long repair.
Oh man. Yeah, Jacob Kowalski already not having the best race, and really struggling there. He's 2 laps down, and I predict he'll probably go further down. Very unfortunate for the Kowalski Motorsports car. Everyone else comes. Whoa! Ricardo Almeida comes into the pit, slams into the wall on pit entry. Slams into the inside wall before the start of the pit boxes. Actually, leaves his front bumper there. That's strange. But we have. Looks like most of the field has come in. Over the half of the field has pit. It's honestly better to tell you the ones who haven't. Hankjan Steneker stays out. Jose Jimenez, Franci Piserko, Miguel Ramos, Adam Donovan, Andres Kananowicz, Geza Kormos, Juanma Fuentes, and Marco Zarak. Apologies if I mispronounced any names, but those are all drivers who have stayed out.
I think Juanma Fuentes went into pits because he was involved in the crash. And is now gone out. By the way, Kowalski's team is being unstable the whole season, I have been told. So the issues that he's having here are somehow consistent with the inconsistency of the team.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, he's been in the pits now for almost 2 minutes.
Well, yeah.
making repairs. I predict that's going to be a while longer as well.
In real life, that would be also a big repair.
Yeah, I actually don't think he would have made it into the pits. I don't think he would have had the wheels on the car to make it into the pits if this were a real car.
Sim racing lets you have fun where the real life drivers don't anymore. We're not even halfway through the... We're at 102 from 250.
Indeed. Steneker stayed out. Jose Jimenez benefited from a lot of drivers coming in. Different Jimenez. It was Ricky Jimenez. He pitted in. Jose Jimenez stayed out. Kowalski still not moving from that pit box. It's going to be a while. He's been in there for over 3.5 minutes now.
I mean, he's got to be happy that that it's pace car phase of full course yellow. So
yes, but he's still going laps down, and the lights are out on the pace car. So we are going to be going green shortly.
Visit Almeida got a penalty for speeding in pit lane. Green. Ow.
Green, green, green. For a little while longer. Kowalski's back out on track. He is
Right
now
on time.
5 laps down.
Jimenez and Picherko.
Hey, Ricardo Almeida in the pits. That's curious. Was that a penalty served?
Yes, speeding in pit lane.
Ah. Honkan Steneker, 105 laps in. He has made 1 pit stop. He's leading your race.
And getting away from second and third for now. Maybe the positions are going to change soon.
Juanma Fuentes is fighting Jose Jimenez to get his lap back.
So that's what I was seeing. I was asking myself why I didn't see Picherko near, even if there was a car at the side of Jimenez all the time. Okay. At the wrong place of the... by the way, is very legal to do. I mean, he can, of course, try to unlap himself if he's faster than the cars in front.
Yes, certainly. Looks like, though, Jose Jimenez is starting to run away with it on the gap. Now that the tires are warmed up, I'm guessing.
A little bit further down on 5th and 4th. Somebody's trying to get the 4th position. Nice fanning out and in and trying to get the best racing line. Ramos, Donovan, Stepanenko, Jimenez, Russell, those are all near to each other.
Indeed, speaking of near, Fuentes getting real close yet again for another try on Jimenez. Meshkov in the pits.
In this fight on 4th, 5th, 6th position and so on, you can really see very well how different strategies work differently. Like those who try to slingshot come nearer to the front but then are not able to overtake. Others then stay on the inside and can win position. That's very interesting.
What's up?
Ramos and Donovan, I think it was. Donovan Jimenez. We're duking it out and Donovan, who went a little bit into the grass but could keep the car.
I see.
You know, here on the positions, yeah, let's say 4 to 7, there's a lot going on.
Jose Jimenez and Hank-Jan Steneker in 2nd and 1st place respectively. Big gap between them and 3rd. Franci Paterco in 3rd place with about a 5-second gap. Of course, there's lap down cars in between that, but that is the gap between 3rd and 2nd.
On board from Russell, 7th position, but well, interchanging positions, being faster, slower, slower, faster than the other cars around, so there's a lot. I think it was Stepanenko and Ivashkin had a moment there, and Stepanenko went even a little bit to the side, but seems he could.
We stay green for now.
Don't jinx it.
Oh, there's no jinxing, it's just inevitable at some point.
Yeah. It's the nature of ovals. What would you say? Does NASCAR have more full course yellows than IndyCar on ovals?
I think it depends. You could probably average it out across all races and that sort, but I think that ultimately it's per race sort of thing. I think that IndyCar certainly has more car-destroying crashes, and NASCAR has more car damaging crashes, just by nature of how the cars are constructed.
Donovan going into pits. Checking how Ramos and Picharco doing. Very interesting on IndyCar seeing draft works, because it works already even if the car is seemingly far away. You can see it that when they are just like a second and a half away from each other on the straight, it works excellently. So that's part of the strategy of the oval racing, just getting the draft and therefore coming near to the one in front. Overtaking him, of course, it's a different story, as it always is.
Yeah, 3, 4, and 5. Franchi Pacheco, Miguel Ramos, and Ricky Jimenez. They have been running near to each other for a little while now. Just kind of getting the laps down. We're 126 laps into this race right now, so that is the halfway point. And yeah, these three drivers, they've been running with each other, running very quick lap times. Still not able to catch the absolute speed that Jose Jimenez and Honkan Steneker have demonstrated. But a couple of drivers fighting their way back. Miguel Ramos, Franchi Pacheco, Ricky Jimenez had a lot of time up at the front. Miguel Ramos had a lot of time leading this race at the very beginning. And they are proving that they're quite quick drivers by rounding out the top 5. But it's been kind of a boring race so far. But I think they're going to make it interesting. It's a boring race for them, I will say, since they've dropped down the order. It's been a very exciting race overall. We've had a bit of green. Oh, just as I say it, yellow flag is out. Yep. But you know, they've been having a boring race the last, you know, few pit stops where they've just kind of been running their race clean and consistent as they've needed to, and it's paid off. Sometimes boring is good. With the yellow flag coming out, I'm trying to figure out what may have caused it. I'm looking around, popping into different car views, and I'm not seeing anything that tells me anything definitive. I'm not quite sure why this caution has come out. Must have been somebody who spun. I don't think there was much contact, because I'm not seeing any damage on any of the cars. Usually these cars are quite fragile. If they come together, you'll know it just by looking at them. Can't say that about every sim. Can't about GTR2. Just thinking about the damage in GTR2.
Those were the days.
Absolutely.
Let me take the time to welcome Spax907 and TC50005, who are new followers on Twitch. We are on lap 131 in starting field of 24 cars, 4 DNF'd, so we have still 20 in the race. Although from those, only 10 are in the same lap, the first 10. I've lost count. Is this the 4th or the 5th pace car?
I was thinking that this was the 5th or the 6th. But yeah, I can't remember the exact number either.
Because I think that I forgot to strike 1 or 2. It seems I forgot to strike 3. Ah, and Indycar, Jimenez, and so on are going into pits.
That makes sense. Indycar before now had only pit once this entire race, on pace to make it a 3 pit stop race, which is a good strategy if you can make it last. Miguel Ramos has been coming into pit pretty much every opportunity, not quite every opportunity, but almost every opportunity. I feel that that's probably kept him back from where he could be. Of course, you want to minimize your time in the pit lane and on pit entry and pit exit, because you're not going at the rate that you could. And even under a yellow flag, if you pit, you're still losing position as all the cars go around you.
And by the way, talking about losing position, Indycar came out, if I see it correctly, something like 4th or 5th.
It may have been on track position, but on the timing screen, I'm seeing him in 2nd still. I think
1,
some
2,
lap
3, 4, 5, 6. 6. He's on 6th at the moment on track.
There are lap down cars ahead of him. I see Adam Donovan, Mesh. Looks like Kowalski as well, up ahead of him. And then Jose Jimenez is the car directly in front of and to the left of him.
So,
But yeah, all of those cars in front, they will most likely get the wave around, get their lap back. Yeah, Kowalski, Donovan, and Meshkov are in front of Indycar.
So when we restart the race, Indycar will be in 2nd. That's interesting. Good strategy, because even if he went into pits, he hasn't lost that much.
Indeed, and the reason for that is all of the other
Everybody
drivers
else went to right.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mom! I finished race 2nd. Oh, that's great. How many were racing? 5, but 3 DNF'd.
I've had races in GT classes from multi-class endurance races that were a little bit like that before.
Let me guess. On turn 1, half of the field thought it was a sprint race and had to get position soon, and they of course kicked each other out.
No, I think mostly it was just cars that were not on pace and then just retired because they didn't want to finish last, I suppose.
So the sim racing way of rage quitting.
A little bit. It happens.
So now it's been cleansed. The lapped cars have been able to overtake, and the lights are out on his car. As soon as he gets into pits, or well, a little bit later, we're gonna restart the race.
Yeah, you can see those cars, they got the wave around, so now Jose Jimenez is in 1st, Hakan Indycar is in 2nd, and Franci Pacheco is in 3rd.
So not a lot of change from before the yellow, because they all went into pits. Which is where the pace car is going now. Green, green, green. Steneker trying already to find his way around and finding it, it seems. Yep. Wow, that was fast. Yeah, Steneker already got into first and is already putting air in between him and Jimenez. There's still a lot going on. Kerko, Ricky Jimenez, Miguel Ramos, Lee Ross, Denkov, all caught in battle.
It's Steneker, Jimenez.
Yeah.
This is lap 138. Anything can happen. Absolutely anything can happen. Duncan Steneker is a name that didn't qualify too high up on the board, but he has proven the chops that he had in Global Enduro. Has really shown that he's a quick driver in any series you put him in.
And in any type of track.
Yes, absolutely. "16 cars are on the lead lap." Or, I'm sorry, no, 11 cars are on the lead lap. After 140 laps and 6 or so pit stops, that's pretty good.
While Steneker is keeping first, Jimenez is not letting him go.
No, certainly not.
And I'll say Donovan because he's also on the same lap as the other 10.
Yes. Yeah, all these drivers, they're all mixed in now pretty well. Some drivers on different laps, some drivers not, but they're all, working together, drafting with each other. There is drafting that still goes on. Drafting in IndyCars really starts to take effect at about 140, 150 miles an hour. So at the end of the straight, these cars are still benefiting from the draft.
It's a big part of the strategy in NASCAR and in IndyCar.
Yes, it saves fuel as well as helps you go faster. And so you can be drafting behind someone and maybe you're just not at full throttle to pass them. You just hang out behind them, save your fuel, and then that can be advantageous come the end of the race when you take one less pit stop than everyone else.
Jimenez working very hard to overtake Jimenez, and no, he's not having mental issues. It's Jose Jimenez and Ricky Jimenez who are trying to get the better of each other.
I don't know the exact country that these guys are from, but it's infinitely interesting to me how you and I both pronounce Jimenez different ways. I pronounce it the Latin American way, and you pronounce it the Spanish way.
I pronounce it the soft Spanish way. Like in some places in Spain, they would say Jimenez. Like the beginning would be much stronger, but as I have a lot of Latin American friends and I don't like those strong consonants, I also pronounce Jimenez.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's even within Spain, there's a lot of regional differences in how things and also names get pronounced.
Interesting.
And most of Latin America speaks versions of the dialect that was spoken in Andalusia and the Canary Islands at the time, because those were ports where the ships took the last provisions and also took people in, and of course those were the ones who were then spreading their own special dialect inside of Latin America.
Well, I'll bet you guys didn't expect you were getting a history lesson today.
Ah, see?
Come to Rom Rom.
Exactly.
Or, Oh, goodness.
What happened there?
Looking. Oh, Adam Donovan. Adam Donovan is out of this race. Hard hit into the wall. I'm going to guess on the exit of turn
DNF.
4. Lost his front left. That's the race for Donovan. He's off track. He's out of the field. Oh man. KMO Racing.
Trying to find out whose front he took away.
His own, it looked like.
No, but it seems like an orange one.
Oh. We'll keep looking.
Yeah, let's check who's gonna go into pit soon. Eddie Donovan, who was doing quite well. I mean, he was 11th, 10th.
Marco Zirac. That's the Orange and Black Racing Club car. That's at least on the side of his car. His actual team is CS Racing, but yeah, he's a car 5 laps down from the leader. He lost his front wing in that collision, I'm going to guess.
I'm going to guess that it was a misunderstanding. Donovan trying to overtake a lapped car and the lapped car not understanding. Oh, so nobody went into pits, not even him. Maybe pit lane is closed or no?
That would make sense. It will most likely be open the next lap.
And they may seem to be going slow, but they don't go slow enough that it's not scary to be driving this car with without a front wing. So
although it looks like they're going at about pit limiter speed for the most part, so that's about 50 miles an hour or 80 kilometers an hour. And so, you know, it's about what you would drive in a mid-sized road around your local town.
nope, it's 100 here, but anyway.
Well, that's what you would drive on, like a road, but like in town.
Nope. A couple of the cars made as if they were going into pits and then didn't. They either tried to be funny or they thought about it and then decided not to.
Could also be a bit of a psychological strategy sort of thing, where they go in, try to fake the other drivers into going into the pits after them, and end up not doing it. I've seen that happen a couple of times in real life racing. I haven't seen it in sim racing so much. But Miguel Ramos in the pits yet again. Pavel Vashkin, Nick Stepanenko, Andres Kananowicz, Pablo Lopez Garcia, Jeza Kormos, Hector Komarut, Martin Sokolowski, and Marco Zerak, unsurprisingly, in the pits. And all of them, in the time that it took me to say that, have come out of the pits.
Well, when the list is long enough.
Yes, yeah, that was about half the field there.
Indycar strategy has paid out because bidding his time. He's been also a little bit of lucky because he got the pace car time, but he's a very experienced driver, so I would say that it's the luck of knowing that these things are gonna happen and are gonna happen soon enough, so you put the wheels and the fuel so that you expect that around the time you have to reload and change tires, there's gonna be a yellow. On the other hand, we've all been in races where there should be a yellow, there should be a yellow, there should be a yellow. Damn, I have to go into pit. As soon as I'm going out of pit, yellow. Been there, done that. Lights are out on the pace car.
And here we are, going green. Green, green. Steneker and then the Jimenezes.
Jimenez. Already putting a lot of air between himself and one of the two Jimenez.
Looks like they're going for a pass. Yeah, Jose Jimenez halfway alongside Ricky. And Ricky Jimenez is ahead of Jose now.
And as it was before, the field behind Steneker, moving out, fanning, trying to find better position, the better racing line. So
yeah,
very
Lee
interesting
Russell
to see.
made an amazing pass on Miguel Ramos. Just absolutely, he just shot down to the inside on corner entry, sent it in through Miguel Ramos to the top line, and carried all the speed. Lee Russell really on a tear right now. Looks like Miguel Ramos has set the best lap of the race. That was way at the beginning. I did a 22.437. I had said to keep in mind that 22 point, I think it was 15 or yeah, 015, something like that. So we're not quite hitting the lap times that was set the last time IndyCar was at this circuit, but we are really, really, really close. So there's some good racing going on, and love to see it. Good, fast, mostly clean racing.
By the way, the Jimenez's are still yellow.
I had to say it. I had to say it. I had to say it. Looks like Ricardo. Oh no, Ricardo Almeida. Oh man, a fall from grace for Ricardo Almeida. He's now 2 laps down. He's lost his front wing. Got some real bad suspension damage. You see him bumping up against the wall there. Oh man, that sucks. He had been running in second place for a long time. He was in the top 5 for a while. The last few pit stops, he lost a lot of time. Oh, he didn't come into the pits. Pit lane must be closed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think pit lane is.
Yeah, so he's gonna have to just survive on that car. You can see him weaving back and forth. That's not because he's drunk. That is because the car is not driving in a straight line right now. Yes, the car is drunk. But yeah, no, the car needs medical attention. He's got to get that into the pits.
I mean, look how he's having the wheel and he's trying to drive on a straight line. So
yeah, no front wing. The front suspension is screwed. He's maintaining 15th place after all of that, but that's going to be a lot of repair work. Here he is coming around again. Looks like... See, I see a car in the...
But he could have gone into pit right now, so I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because we can see it in the...
Oh, Pavel Vashkin also lost the front wing. They may have gotten into each other.
But you could see in the images that pit lane was open. It was green, so...
Oh, yeah. So, very strange. Does Ricardo Almeida not know he's lost his front wing? Usually, depending on your FOV, you can see the wing.
On the other hand, even if he's not lost his wing, he cannot keep the car straight, so he knows he's got damage.
Yeah, so I'm perplexed why he didn't come in last lap. He might come in this lap. He might know that, hey, if I wait, if I come out and it's still the case that the yellow is out, I don't know. I'm having a hard time making excuses right now.
For me, there is no reason other than not noticing that pit lane is open. Because the later... Oh, now half of the field is going into pit. As is Almeida. So maybe the images were showing pit lane open, but the drivers did not get the information that it was open and they were not allowed to go in? I don't know. The only thing that I can imagine happening here. Indeed. In any case, he's gonna be standing.
Yeah, Almeida has been in the pits now for a minute and a half. Usually you can see whenever the physical damage has been repaired because the missing parts will come back on, and has not happened yet, so you can definitely tell that it's bodywork damage has been a large part of that. And I think that's probably Ricardo Almeida's chances done, 'cause he's a lap down now from even 14th Juanma Fuentes.
But
And,
it's still a way to go in the race.
That's true, but that is a lot to make up. Anything can happen, though. Anything can happen. Advanced competition, you remember, they were second and third there for a little bit at the beginning. Oh, Ricardo Almeida, he's back out. And now the highest advanced competition car is Nick Stepanenko in 6th. And then Pavel Ivashkin down in 13th, a lap down. So they had an excellent start, but they've been having some troubles since then.
Yeah, the thing with the strategy. Pace car. I mean, you can see the strategy, Steneker's strategy seems to be working. Already a long while on first or second place. And let's see if he can keep that first place soon.
Yeah, you can see the Jimenezes are very, very close behind Steneker as we go green here. They wanted to pack themselves in right behind him to catch all the draft that they can as we get started. Kumbarut got a penalty.
Illegally passed before green.
Oh. Oh, big spin. That looked like Kowalski Motorsports.
What? Jakub Kowalski?
I believe so.
Ours seems to be.
I don't think he hit the wall, but it was a big spin at the end of turn 4, just narrowly avoiding it from the outside, spinning and then going into the inside.
Well, that's gonna be a blessing for Kumbarut.
Mm-hmm. I think that was Kowalski that spun. It was a dark-colored car, and then Kowalski was on the inside as the camera focused to him. All the other drivers were on the outside, so I believe that was Kowalski who spun.
This long stint on green, places 1 to 3 are Indycar, Jimenez.
Indeed.
Only I think Jose overtook Ricky or something like that, but I'm not sure. Too many Jimenezes to count. And one of them even overshot and went in front of Indycar. Yikes, don't do that. Again, Indycar also into pits.
Oh, yep. I think that's the smallest amount of difference between Indycar's, or the smallest amount of time between Indycar's pit stop attempts.
He may have.
Before that, he may be.
He may be preparing himself to be able to do like 80 or a little bit less rounds, 80 laps on whatever he puts on fuel and tires inside.
That would
Maybe
make
that's
sense.
the reason.
That would make sense. But he's coming out in 9th. So he will have to make up a lot of that. I think all of these other drivers in front of him will have one more pit stop to go. So if he can stay out of the pits, he'll have a good strategy. But now he goes from being out in front and having clean air and a mostly clean track to drive on. Of course, there's lap down cars, but still. He'll go from that to having to fight his way up the order.
So Comerut has not served his penalty yet. Indycar has 3 pit stops, Jimenez has 3 pit stops, and all the others have more. Ricky Jimenez, who's on first at the moment, and Indycar, who was on first before that, both are the ones with the least pit stops. And now Comerut is serving his penalty. Pace car, so he won't lose that much time. Is there a rule that says something like you cannot serve the penalties until that and then that many laps into pace car, or?
I think it's just the pit lane has to be open. I think that's all. Outside of that, no, I don't think so. But I think that's the main thing.
Somehow Comerut. The system at least does not accept Comerut as having served his penalty. That's strange. Lap, safety car in this lap. 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 It's funny that R Factor 2, even when you're racing ovals, calls it safety car. But wait. This conversation a while ago that in the States it's called pace car and called safety car.
Yes. Yeah, we do call it the pace car. Although it's interesting, whenever like F1 comes to America, they still call it the safety car. It doesn't switch, so I think it's just IndyCar and NASCAR that calls it the pace car. Because I think in IMSA they still call it a safety car.
Ah, okay. Don't follow IMSA that much, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Now, IMSA is, if I remember correctly, FIA sanctioned, because they run, you know, LMP1, LMP2, GT, GT3, that sort of stuff. NASCAR and IndyCar is not associated with the FIA in any way, shape, or form. So there may lie the difference.
And we're gonna go green quite soon. We are green once again.
Ricky Jimenez gets his time in the sun, leading the race.
One to be looking at is, of course, Indycar, who is already at 8th. Indycar not pushing by any means, just keeping good pace and seeing to it that, of course, as soon as he can, he gets a better position, but not pressing it.
This is the highest position that Ramos has been in since he led the race at the start.
Let's see if he can keep it.
The timing, the length of a race has a lot to do with...
Indycar has had some issue. Oh, bother.
Uh-oh. Oh, no! Oh, wow, he's had a major crash. That's going to be a yellow flag, certainly. He escapes into the pits very quickly, but... Oh, man. Oh, no. Well, he's in 12th currently. So he will have to pit and wait for damage.
I was right, he was one to look at, but not for the reasons that I was thinking.
Yeah, he has now gone down 1 lap. This is the first time this race that Indycar is down a lap. Honestly, that was a very quick pit stop for the amount of damage that it looked like. That was a insanely quick pit stop for what it looked like. So it looked like he had suspension damage and bodywork damage, and it seems that both of those have been repaired. He's back out now, 13th. He only lost 2 positions, but he did go down another lap. So Indycar, previous race leader before the pit, now down 2 laps, running in 13th.
He lost 5 positions because he was 8th when he had the crash, whatever happened there.
Okay, he had worked his way up to 8th already. Alright, I didn't see that. Okay, so he's now down into 13th. He's behind, of course, some lap down cars. Kowalski is the driver directly ahead of him. We'll have to get around Kowalski unless, of course, Kowalski pits in. Seeing as we're getting down to the last 30 minutes, that's sort of the last stint of the race, I would be surprised if nobody comes into pit. It may be that I am surprised, but I would think
Let's give them another lap, but remember that many came on the pit stop before this year. So
That's true. That's true.
but that's gonna sting. I mean, you are the first, then you go into pits because you have to.
Mm-hmm.
9th, work your way up to 8th. Don't push it. Just, I don't know what happened there. It did not look as if he hit somebody else, but I changed camera too late to see what exactly was happening there. I think he just hit the wall. Which, by the way, can happen when you are in the draft of somebody else and don't notice that your speed has gone very high. Sometimes you don't notice that the draft has put your speed higher than what the car and the physics are gonna be supporting.
Yeah, and with draft, oh, there we are. There's everyone coming in. Looks like 3-4 drivers maybe coming in. Looks like Kananowicz and Stepanenko came in, and Meshkov. That looks like all of them. Ricardo Almeida, a DNF. That's new.
No.
Is it? Is it not? Meshkov is still below Almeida.
Yeah, but that's because of laps. But Almeida DNF'd a while ago. Remember?
Oh wow! So Meshkov is just now getting to where he's about to lap Almeida, who's been off track for a while. Then apparently, okay. Ah, wow. Okay. 6 drivers have DNF'd in this race so far. So far, I say. Ricky Jimenez is in front, and Miguel Ramos is in second. The other Jimenez, Jose Jimenez, is directly behind Ricky Jimenez, but he is a lap down. Pablo Lopez Garcia, he's in third. Garcia, as it would be pronounced in Spain, I suppose. And then Lee Russell in. It's interesting, when Spanish is taught here in Texas, we are taught both the Latin American and the Spaniard way of doing things.
Ah, okay.
And then we're just basically told, yeah, well, you'll only use this if you go to Spain, so just use the Latin American one.
Exactly. True that.
But we are taught it. So like the conjugations of vosotros, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are taught that, but I couldn't tell you hardly any of them because I've forgotten most of them, because we were basically just taught that it exists and then never tested on anything.
Because you always use ustedes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose the teachers that you have are normally Mexican.
Yes, although my first college Spanish teacher was from Spain. Shout out Senor Carrasco.
Look at that. Yeah, I mean, in Texas, I'd be surprised if it isn't so that most of the teachers come from Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico or just Texas.
True that.
A lot of them. Yeah, Texas has a very large Hispanic population.
But what I was saying, they come from Mexico or Mexico.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Lights are out on the pace car. We'll be going green next lap.
the channel teaching you history.
History and linguistics.
Yeah. At the end of these series, you're gonna be able to speak Spanish.
Take that, Duolingo owl. Can you go 200 miles an hour?
Exactly.
Here we are, coming around turn 4. The pace car is in, and the cars are away. Green, green, green. Ricky Jimenez off to a great start. Holy cow! Already gaining a second on the car behind. Lap down Jose Jimenez.
Yeah, Lopez Garcia didn't react. Or Ramos, he didn't react soon enough.
No.
Got almost 2 seconds on Ramos.
Yeah, he's just leaving him in the dust. And Jose Jimenez found a little bit of that speed as well. He's quickly swinging along behind him.
Seneca, by the way, lost 1 place. He's on 14th now.
Oh man, 2 laps down still. That's Stineker. Pavel Ivashkin is and Geza Kormos as well, but even if Stineker gets all of that, he's got to go a full lap around. It may be, though, remember, it may be that Stineker's planned strategy helps him out, where you know, he's not taking any more pit stops, any more scheduled pit stops for the rest of this race. 60 laps to go. Oh, Kowalski sets the new fastest lap around this track. Look at that. If Kowalski comes away with nothing else this race, he did get a best lap so far. Could be beaten, which is why I put the caveat in there, but that's impressive. 22.423. Jose Jimenez, he's a lap down, but he's racing Ricky Jimenez like he really wants that lap back. Get back on the lead lap, get back around. Because if Jose Jimenez can get out ahead of Ricky Jimenez and then the caution comes out, he gets the wave around. So he starts at the back of the lead lap. So all of that time in between where Ricky Jimenez is right now and where the last driver on the circuit is, whenever you get into, you know, the person trailing all the way at the back of the pack here, Jose Jimenez, if he gets ahead of Ricky Jimenez, as soon as the caution comes out, he'll get to eliminate that gap, gain a lot of time.
And I may be wrong, but it looks as if Ricky Jimenez has a little bit of issues with the back of his car. Maybe the tires are giving.
Let me take a look. I have to remember my ISI car camera views. Shortcuts. They're still mostly the same. I gotta remember. There we go. Yeah, page up, page down, and then numpad 7 to zoom out, and then like turn off your numlock and use the arrow keys to move around. So I'm looking at the back of Ricky Jimenez's car. I don't see any visual damage. His skin, like the car's livery, not Ricky Jimenez's actual skin, is a very low res skin, optimized as we call it. So I think that's
and Jimenez loses control and Oh, hits.
Oh, that's
So
Jose Jimenez. Oh,
Yeah.
Jose Jimenez, poor driver, out of this race. It looks like he's lost a wheel. He does make it into the pit box, which might mean he can get that into the pits and repaired, maybe. But remember, he was already a lap down. He was fighting to get that lap back. Looks like he fought.
And he fought too strong, and he lost control all by himself. There was no contact.
But yeah, that was an incredibly hard hit. He's lost the front left wheel and suspension assembly, as well as the front bumper. Or front wing, I should say.
Yikesy.
Well, it was a good run for Jose Jimenez. He has not lost... no, he's lost 4 positions. I believe he was in 11th. Oh, that's a retirement. He's gone. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, but that is very unfortunate.
He was quite... He had a couple of opportunities against Ricky Jimenez, and because, as I said, you can see it. We were on board Jimenez, and you can see that he just lost all by himself. But no, there was no issue with drafting or something like that. He was... may have been a throttle issue. Just pushing the throttle at the wrong time.
There is an aero wash sort of thing that you get, so drafting is very beneficial, but it is a double-edged sword, because in a car that relies on downforce, like these Indycars with the intermediate or short oval configuration of aero, remember on the super speedways, they run very low aero packages that are just these thin little wings. But whenever they're running higher downforce setups, and on any car that runs a high downforce setup, whenever you are following behind the car in front of you, that car is punching a hole in the air. And so as your car drives through that hole in the air, you have much less wind resistance, so you're able to drive faster and more efficiently. But all of the downforce is reliant on air passing over your car. So whenever you are drafting behind another car, there is less air, I won't say no air, but there's less air running over the wing of your car. And so your car has less cornering speed when you are drafting close behind somebody. That may have been what happened to Jimenez as he attempted to corner and use all of that downforce out of the corner, but he didn't have it because he was following so close to Ricky Jimenez.
That's quite possible. One thing that I cannot see in the cockpit view is how they are using the car jacking. It may have also been an issue there, but I pretty much would gather a guess that it's more what you are saying, this loss of downforce, this lesser downforce.
Jacob Kowalski into the pits.
Indycar is now running on a 12 as after, so to speak, overtaking somebody in pits. And that's gotta sting. You've been first for a long while, and now you are 12, 2 laps down. 2 laps down. Laps to go. That's not first or even podium.
Mikel Ramos, he is back out on the front row. Been a constant thread here in the later half of the race. Just as he was in the first quarter, he did sort of probably what I would say my favorite driver of all time, Jeff Gordon, tended to do in oval racing, which was qualify well, start off strong, and then slip back into kind of, you know, 9th or 10th. Hang out there for most of the race and then make your move towards the end. I think Mikel Ramos has been working on making his move, and it's starting to pay off.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much part of the strategy too. I mean, it doesn't matter where you've been half of the race. You may have been dead last.
Uh-oh, Serta, I think we might have lost you. But as long as you've, you know, managed to put yourself into a good position for the late race, then absolutely, you've got a shot, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter who leads the second to the last lap. It matters who leads the last lap.
So you cannot hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Starting to sweat here.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you. We can hear you. Leave.
And we go green again.
Vroom, vroom, vroom. We had a driver duck into the pits there. Words. Marco Zarak comes in for CS Racing down in 16th. But we're back out on the track. Ricky Jimenez leads the race. Mikel Ramos in second. Pablo Lopez Garcia in third.
And we go yellow again. That didn't last long. Happened there. Teams.
Sure. Haven't seen anything. I don't see any damaged cars.
Me neither. Checking the data, but
couldn't tell you. Lightning strike within a few miles of the track? I don't know.
As long as it's lightning and not missiles like it was happening on Formula 1 last year.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. That was insane.
all these full course yellows hurt any chances Standicker might have been having on, I don't know, moving forward? I'm fixating on him because he was on first for such a long time.
Yeah, it just goes to show that there's a lot of race to run, and anything can happen. So, stay tuned in. You don't know how this is going to end. We don't know how this is going to end. Nobody knows how this is going to end. So you gotta wait and watch and find out.
All these broadcasts. It's what makes them fun. I don't see anybody going into pits, which you would expect if somebody had a real big issue that triggered the yellow. So
I think everyone went into the pits the last couple of times. There were a few drivers that I had counted that were due for a pit stop, but they took it the last pit stop. I think everyone has fueled up for the end of the race, and if they can manage, I think we will not be seeing any scheduled pit stops.
Yeah, but I was thinking more about damage that happened when whatever happened triggered the yellow,
Yeah, I think I'm not sure what triggered the yellow. It might have just been somebody had a slide or the tires or something and recovered. I do see tire tracks in the grass.
Yeah, but those were already at the beginning of the race. Those seem to be from qualifying.
Okay. Well, either way, I'm not quite sure. See Pavel Ivashkin weaving his tires, trying to warm them up. Lights are out on the pace car. We're about to go green again. And here we go.
39 laps to go. Jimenez be able to keep first place. Garcia already has overtaken Ramos.
Vladislav Zinkov in fourth, looking to disrupt the 1-2-3 Latin speed that we've got going on with Jimenez, Lopez Garcia, and Ramos.
Finding out, trying to find different racing lines.
Ricky Jimenez is very good at restarts.
Yeah. But all the stuff. Ooh. I don't know. What?
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Was it because of time?
I guess so. We are on lap 214 of 250, but the server has called checkered flag. Currently, the standings are Ricky Jimenez, Pablo Lopez Garcia, Miguel Ramos in third, Vladislav Zinkov, Lee Russell, Nick Stepanenko, Andres Kananowicz, Pavel Ivashkin, Geza Kormos, Franchi Pacherko, Juanma Fuentes, Hankjan Steneker, Hector Komarut, Marcin Sokolowski, Jacob Kowalski, Marco Zirak, and then Alexander Meshkov to round out the finishers. Non-finishers, Jose Jimenez, Ricardo Almeida, Adam Donovan, Robert Riss, Stan Sokol, Dmitry Malakar, Eugene Zagladko. Just in case we need to reset the order for any length of time. But it looks like Ricky Jimenez is taking his win in stride. He did some donuts. He's doing a burnout now.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. He'll take it. He'll take it.
So I'm getting confirmation on the Discord that race ending because of time.
Okay. All right. Well then, the 214 laps around Milwaukee Mile instead of 250 as we proposed. But hey, we'll take it. Thanks for coming along the ride with us. That was a bit of a surprise ending. But if you're Ricky Jimenez, you're just gonna roll with it and enjoy it.
Absolutely. And if you are a Steneker, you're gonna be hating every minute of it. But that's the way racing is. Jimenez, Garcia, Ramos are 1, 2, 3, and we are gonna be next week. And now I have to ask for a second because I don't remember where we are next week with the ASRC. La la la, I'm gonna be singing until I find it. Schedule, there I have it. Next week we're gonna be in Cleveland, which is a street track. We're gonna be on Cleveland racing again with the ASRC on Indycar. So in 7 days you can join us once again, 2000, and have fun watching these guys duking it out on Indycar. Cody, any last comments from you?
Well, we had a great time here at the Milwaukee Mile. It was a wild race, lots of stuff going on. A twist ending like a M. Night Shyamalan movie, and it's been very cool to commentate this. We're coming on a few races into this championship, but we will be with you until the end. So we're going from Milwaukee to Cleveland, some wonderful shining examples of American cities, but the Cleveland street circuit is a fun one. It's a wild one. It's an interesting one, and I cannot wait to take these Dallara IR18 Indy cars there next weekend. I hope you guys can make it.
So, until at least next week, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium. Have fun!